Hi, my name is Curtis, and today we're going to be talking about game theory, and more specifically, the prisoner dilemma. So what this is, it was originally framed by Merrill Flood and Melvin Drescher working at RAND in 1950, and this models how individuals rationally should act in certain problems and situations. So, this is the situation. Imagine two members of a criminal gang are arrested, but there's not enough evidence to prosecute either of them by the prosecutors. However, both of them are in solitary confinement and cannot converse or communicate in any way. But they're both offered a deal by how they can work and cooperate with the forces. These are the offers. They can choose to remain silent, or they can choose to betray the other. If they both choose to betray the other, they will each serve 2 years in prison, which is a total of 4 years. If one betrays the other, so A betrays B, and B remains silent, then B will serve 3 years in prison, but A will serve no years in prison. However, if they both choose to remain silent, and in a sense this is cooperating and working together, they will each only serve 1 year in prison, so a total of 2 years. We can model this quite easily in a diagram. So this shows they both remain silent, both suffer 1 year. If they both betray, both 2 years. And if one betrays and the other is silent, one will serve 3 and one will serve 0. So if I take a moment to think, let's say I'm individual B, and I act, let's say thinking of my prisoner A, the other person. So thinking not selfishly. These are the outcomes if I think silent. If I am silent as prisoner B, prisoner A will either serve 1 year or 0 years, so a total of 0.5 years. However, if I choose to be selfish and punish them, then if I betray them, they will serve either 3 years or 2 years guaranteed, which means an average of 2.5 years. So based on my choice, thinking about them, they will either serve an average of 0.5 or an average of 2.5. So this gives the idea that, as an individual thinking on their behalf, I can either punish or reward them depending on my choice. Now, if I don't think about them for a moment, and I think about myself, and I act selfishly as prisoner B, these are the results. If I stay silent, then I'm risking either 1 year or 3 years in prison, which is an average of 2 years. However, if I choose to betray them acting selfishly, I will either suffer 0 or 2 years in prison, which is only an average of 1 year. So thinking acting selfishly on behalf of myself, I will serve an average less number of years by acting selfishly. However, if both individuals act selfishly, then they will both serve more years. And this is where the contradiction comes. Thinking selfishly as an individual may logically benefit myself, but in the grand scheme of things, if everyone acts selfishly, and because of that communication barrier they cannot communicate, then it won't serve the greater good. Both parties will suffer. Now, the best case is obviously to stay silent. So this is completely contradictory to the individual thought. So we have to think a basis of being rational and about serving the greater good. Now, this kind of dilemma can be seen in many ways, in many instances, where certain areas of constitutional behaviour can benefit individuals who work together and cause problems, and they can cause people to suffer when they don't work together due to communication barriers. The whole idea of this prisoner dilemma is that there's a communication barrier preventing cooperation and teamwork. Now, one way, I'm sure we've all seen this, is the Golden Balls. Great game show, I'm sure we've all watched it. If you haven't, the idea is very simple. A team will work together to amass an amount of money. At the end, there will be 2 individuals left, and they have a choice, split or steal. If they both split, they share the money 50-50. If they both steal, neither of them will get the money. But if one betrays and steals, and one is silent and splits, so as you can see it's very similar to the prisoner dilemma, they will get 100% for the betrayer or the stealer, and only 0% for the split. This can be seen once again in the diagram, showing how sharing by splitting and sharing by stealing. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. But once again, when you think about the greater good, if one person was to steal while the other splits, looking at an average selfishly of 50%, but working together will guarantee an average of 50%. So this is one more example of how you can think about the greater good. Thank you for watching the video, hope you've enjoyed. Let me know if you want to see anything else, and I'll welcome any feedback. Thank you.